セッション6、コロナ禍での貧困問題を考えるフィリピンのストリートファミリーの現状です。こちらは第1部はゲストによる講演、第2部は現役高校生をお招きしてトークセッションをお送りいたします。また、クローズドオンラインイベントとしては、JICA 企画によるオンラインキッチン、魅惑のエスニックフルコースランチ、世界ほぼ一周へようこそ、世界の魅力を食べ尽くそうを開催しております。それではご講演いただくのは、フィリピン・マニラのストリートチルドレン支援 NGO カンルンガンサ・エルマご代表ソル・バルベロさんです。ソル・バルベロさんはフィリピン工科大学商学部で会計学を学んだ後、フィリピン大学ディリマン校で臨床ソーシャルワーカーの修士号を取得、またスウェーデンのヨーテリボリ大学でソーシャルワークの国際修士号も取得されております。1988年 NGO カンルンガンサ・エルマを設立、代表を務めフィリピン国内の子どもたちを守る非営利団体の役員を歴任されるなど、日夜貧困の中で育つ子どもたちとその家族の支援活動に取り組んでおられます。ここで NGO カンルンガンサ・エルマについて少しご紹介をさせていただきます。
カンルンガンサ・エルマとは、フィリピンの首都メトロマニラの歓楽街エミル・タマラテ地区に本部を置くストリートチルドレン支援 NGO です。ストリートで暮らす子どもたちや家族を対象にさまざまな支援事業を展開しています。
一人でも多くの子どもたちに教育を提供することで、ストリートでの生活から抜け出せるように、およそ20名ほどのスタッフで活動しています。
また、この講演の翻訳はダニカさんにお願いいたします。それではソルさん、ダニカさん、よろしくお願いいたします。はい、ダニカさん、お願いいたします。こちらにどうぞよろしくお願いいたします。それでは Zoom でつながっていますでしょうか。ソルさん、ダニカさん、改めましてよろしくお願いいたします。
Shall I start?
見えないですか？ちょっとモニターの文字が見えにくいみたいなんですけども。
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and a great privilege for me to be with you today, and thank you very much for having me. On behalf of Kanluman sa Irma Ministry Incorporated, I would like to express our sincerest thanks to the Association of World Peace Support, or AWPS, to Mr. Yoshihisa Iwasa, Ms. Mami Nakay, and their team for inviting us to participate in this One World Festival 2022 in Japan. Our contribution to this event is to share about the situation of children and families in street situation, the effect and impact of the COVID-19 pandemic to these children and families. And also, we would like to show a video of the Kanlungan's COVID-19 response to this pandemic situation for these children and families in street situations and to poor communities.
Could you please continue at this all?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So welcome to my presentation. A few days ago, I watched on TV this breaking news saying that the worst is over for COVID-19 pandemic in the Philippines. So do you agree or do you believe that news? Before you answer my question, let me share with you information about this subject.
本日この企画で高校生からの Q&A セッションの前にぜひ私どもからコロナ禍におけるフィリピン・マニラのストリートチルドレンそして家族の様子についてご紹介させてください。
Let me define the children in street situation. They refer to children who depends on the street to live and work, whether alone or with family, and a wider population of children who have formed strong connections with public spaces and for whom the street plays a vital role in their everyday lives and identities.
Children in street situation というのは一人で家族、一人でまたは家族と一緒にストリートに住んでいるということです。Please continue, Mr. Irma.
So this statistics is based on a baseline survey that was conducted by an NGO. So concerning 210 families. So for children who have whole families, meaning they have complete families, is 64.7%. Children living with other relatives is 29%. And children living alone is 5.3%. And those adopted by street women there's 1%.
NGO の調査にとして家族と一緒に住んでいる子どもたちが134人です。で、家族と親戚と一緒に住んでいる子どもたちが63人です。で、一人で暮らしている子どもが11人です。で、他の人に保護されている子どもたちが2人です。Please continue, Mr. Irma.
Okay. So the reasons for not living with their parents are the factors that push the street children to live in the streets and public spaces. Some say, my parents are separated, my parents are deceased or dead, my parents are in jail, I have no idea where my parents are, I was abandoned by my parents are in the province, my parents are working abroad, my mother died.
子どもたちが両親と一緒に住んでない理由は両親が別れているということとか両親がもう亡くなりましたとか両親は捕まえられたとか両親はどこにいるかわからないという子どもたちもいる。で、親に見捨てられた子どももいるし、で、両親は田舎に住んでいる。で、両親は海外で働いています。Please continue, Mr. Irma.
So do they attend school? 41% are full-time students, 20% are out of school and working, 27% of them are working students, and 12% are out of school but not working.
ストリートチルドレンは学校に通っているのか、41% はフルタイムで学校通ってます。で、27% は working students、20% は学校行ってない学に行ってないで働いています。で、12% は学校行ってないし働いてないです。 Please continue, Ms. Irma.
So the street children and their reasons for being out of school. First reason is poverty. They're not employed by parents. And some are lazy to go to school. Some are bullied by the classmates. Some need to work. Others, mothers died. Some parents are separated. There's constant change of location. And they failed subjects. There's no birth certificates. Fighting with classmates. Some got pregnant and got sick. Lost ID or afraid of the teacher. They joined gangs and they need to take care of the siblings. Some are also jailed, have jailed sick parents, and the others run away from home, and some have no answer.
調査によるストリートチルドレンの学校に行けない理由は貧困とか行きたくないとかいじめで家族が別れている、特に両親です。出生証明書も持っていないから、出生証明書は大切だから学校行くときにそれ持ってないから学校に行けないという理由もあります。そして妊娠したストリートチルドレンもいます。Please continue, Ms. Irma.
So they also have bullying experiences in school due to the children's untidy physical appearance, low academic performance, and failure to comply to the school projects and street activities. Other children look down upon them. 5 in every 10 students have experienced being bullied. 4 in every 10 students have experienced being insulted. And 6 in every 10 students have experienced being avoided by their classmates.
子どもたちのいじめとかの理由は、例えば貧困だからこそきれいな服が着ないとか、スクールプロジェクトも出すことができない、そういう学校のアクティビティは参加することもできないです。Please continue, Ms. Irma.
Children's street work. 52% of the children were engaged in income-generating activities such as begging, selling, picking, jeepney barking, water fetching, portering, dishwatering, and laundering. 70% is earning money, entertaining, happy, able to help the family, while 30% who do not like it are dangerous. Because it's dangerous, they can get arrested, they cannot study well, difficult, they get insulted, they get beaten by other children, they get beaten by the father, they get beaten by the grandmother, and bored by the activity.
ストリートチルドレンのどんな仕事をしているのか、例えば物乞いとか、雑巾と布巾を売ったりしています。でそのお金を家族にあげて、で食べ物を買いにもらって、両親に買いにもらったりとか。Ms. Irma, please continue.
So where do the street children live? Their dwellings. We have all these places, which is the Luneta Park, Paraiso Park, Ferguson Park, Paco Park, Binondo, Chinatown, Divisoria, and Quiapo. They reside in major parks, churches, train stations, land railway transport, Divisoria, and Quiapo. These are big shopping centers. They also dwell in wooden carts, sidecars, carton boxes, waiting sheds, street pavements, and market stalls. The displaced Badjaos, or the indigenous people from Zamboanga, live in Paraiso na Kabataan, youth haven in Lavarisa, Manila, where they are found in clusters and they're using rundown sidecars, the wooden carts, folding beds, and hammocks installed under the trees as their shelters.
ストリートチルドレンはどこに住んでいるのか2つのベースがあります。1つ目はストリートベースっていう住むところです。それはチャイナタウンとか公園に住むとかで木製の2台とかに住んでいる。で2つ目はコミュニティベースでそれはそのところはちょっと人口が多くてでそのところはみんなが簡単な家を作ったりでなんていうか仮設住宅です。Mr. Irma, please continue on the next slide.
So other places of dwellings of street children on the community base is in Dalpan, Tondo, and Guerrero. It's densely populated areas, prominent urban poor communities in the country, and they reside in makeshift houses or shanties built out of light materials that is normally towered to 3 stories.
さっきと言ったようにこのコミュニティベースのところが人口が多くて仮設住宅に住んでいます。Mr. Irma, please continue.
Okay, so we go on these are the street children's exposure to risks. There are health risks, vehicular accidents, rescued, and they are arrested by law enforcers, and they also acquire unhealthy vices and habits. I will not go into the details.
ストリートチルドレンにはさまざまな危機が迫っています。例えば健康問題、そして交通事故、また法的な処置に遭ってしまうこと、またですね、さまざまな悪行などによって、子どもたちはさまざまな危機に瀕しています。詳細はスライドの通りです。Please continue.
So what are the dreams and aspirations of street children? As to career, they want to become a soldier, doctor, teacher, nurse, basketball player, soccer player, flight attendant, firefighter, rapper, singer, OFW, engineer, and architect. And for their families, their dream is to live together in a big house, to be with their parents and siblings, good health, the father to be more responsible, cataract surgery for grandmother, and to own a building for family and become rich. And some of these children also, as to materials, they dream to own a car, to have a cell phone, to have a complete set of basketball, soccer uniforms, shoes, clothing, toys, such as Barbie dolls, Lego, bike, remote control cars, school supplies, and drum set.
子どもたちにはさまざまな夢があります。将来の夢としましては、兵隊に入りたい、医者になりたい、教師になりたい、またラッパーや歌手になりたいと言っている子どもたちも多いようです。また家族のみんなは大きな家に住みたかったりとか、大黒柱であるお父さんにもっとしっかりしてほしい、また欲しいもの、所有したいものとしましては車を持ちたい、また携帯電話、十分な服や靴、これらを所有したいという夢があるようです。Please continue.
Okay. So I present to you now the profile of street families. There's a total of 102 families who participated, 83 women and 19 men. And let's start with their educational attainment. So 38% of these families are high school level, have reached high school level. 44% are elementary graduate. 8% did not study. 9% reached college level. And 1% is a high school graduate.
調査による83人の女性、19人の男性、 その中で38%のハイスクールまで卒業しました。44% が小学校まで卒業しました。80% は全く8% は全く卒業してないということで、9% はカレッジまで卒業しました。1% はハイスクール、1% はハイスクール卒業しました。Please continue.
So the health risks of these street families are exposure to inclement weather and pollutants, poor nutrition, poor living condition, contagious diseases, dirt, and germs.
The health risk は栄養失調と感染症があって、もちろん郊外もストリートチルドレンは変しています。Please continue, Ms. Irma.
The types of dwelling or houses of the street families is a shanty, sidecar, street parks, street market, under the bridge, abandoned building, tricycle, and tenement hall. That's where they live.
詳しくはこのグラフの通りです。
このグラフではストリートチルドレンの家族の様子について詳しく書かれています。Please continue.
The number of earner per street family, we have
Atesol, sorry, could you please go back to the slide before this?
Okay, yes.
Thank you so much.
So those are the types of dwelling or where the street families live. So they live in shanties or small houses, sidecar, street and parks, street market, under the bridge, the abandoned building, the tricycle, and the tenement hall.
ストリートチルドレンの住むところはこの写真の通りです。Please continue.
Okay. The number of earner per street family, we have 49 families who are breadwinners, 2 breadwinners, 47 families. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So the top sources of earnings are from jobs such as vending, tricycle driver, construction worker, pedicab driver, and begging. Only 29 members of street families have salaried jobs as bagger, office employee, garbage collector, construction worker, security guard, overseas foreign workers, dishwasher, and sales lady. And the rest were engaged in informal activities, in transaction of goods or services, or in self-employed activities. These activities were not reported to the government regulations, resulting to improper tax evasion and license to operate.
ストリートに住む家族たちはどのような仕事をしているのかという話です。一番多いのは、三輪車、タクシーですね。フィリピンでいうタクシーのドライバーというのが一番多いものとなっています。他には物乞いをしたりとか、そして、たった29人の、ストリートに住む家族たちは、正規雇用をしている状態です。また他には、行政から許可を得ていないような仕事をしている家族も多く見られるそうです。Please continue.
The daily earnings of street families, regardless of the number of family earners, is between 100 to 1,000 pesos. The average daily earning of each wage earner is 428.40 pesos, and the majority have earned 500 pesos per day, which is slightly lower than the mandated minimum wage of 537 pesos.
ストリートファミリーの1日の収入は円にしたらだいたい200円、1日はだいたい200円から2000円までです。
Please
Please continue.
Are there members of the family who have disability? Yes. They have special child with mental disorders, 2 families with special children, mental disorders, 2 families with polio, 3 families, and the hydrocephalus, there's 1 family.
ストリートに住んでいる家族に障害のある人はいるのかいないのかという話なんですけれども、一定数いるとのことです。例えば障害を持った子ども、精神疾患を持った人、ポリオを持った人、または小頭症を持ったような人もいるそうです。Please continue.
Street families with knowledge on social service. We have, yes, there are, and the points scored is 36 points.
Sorry, at this all, could you please go back to the slide for the vices of street families?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Vices? Okay, vices of street families. Out of 102 families, 60 families have family members with destructive vices such as drinking, liquor, smoking, gambling, using drugs, and womanizing. 20 families, or 33%, said that the money intended for family needs but was consumed for vices led to their financial hardship. 11%, or 18% of other families fell ill due to vices, and 6 neglected the family, while 2 said vices caused by family conflict that led to separation.
ストリートファミリーズの悪行は50% のファミリーの家族がその悪行の理由で別れているとか、子供を見捨てられるとか、ギャンブルとかスモーキングとかの理由でストリートファミリーズは別れることになります。Please continue, Miss. Please continue.
Yeah, the street families with knowledge on social service providers, those who do not know is 36.7%, and those who answered yes is 63.3%. On the other hand, street families who have access to social services with family members is 70%, and with children, it's 30%.
彼らが社会福祉のサービスを授与できているのかというグラフがこちらになります。右側にですね、子どもたち 30%、そして全体の 70% が家族たちが社会福祉に触れているという図になります。そして左側ですね、そもそもこの社会福祉を受けられるという事実を知らないという人が少なくとも4割弱いるということを表しています。Please continue.
Other types of assistance that street families want to receive are scholarship for children, answered by 20 families, capital for business or livelihood, answered by 30 families, medicine by 5 families, housing by 15 families, food by 8 families, job or employment by 12 families, and there's no answer by 12 families.
次はストリートファミリーズが何が欲しいかというと、子どもの奨学金とかビジネス資金とかメディシンとか住居とか食べ物と仕事です。Please continue.
What are the dreams and aspirations of these street families? They want an improved quality of life, stable source of income, decent house or home, and live together as a happy family.
そんな彼らが望むものとしましては、生活水準の向上、また安定した収入、しっかりした、住宅、そして家族と幸せに暮らすことです。Please continue.
And so now we go to the quick data on children's situation during the COVID-19 pandemic.
ではここからは、フィリピンのマニラにおきますストリートチルドレンがコロナ禍でどのような影響を受けているのか、手短にデータを見ていきたいと思います。Please continue.
While the evidence showed there's low prevalence of children infected with COVID-19 and with a low mortality rate compared to adults, children can suffer the biggest impact. Children are hidden victims of this pandemic as their survival, development, and protection rights are threatened with the disruptions in the delivery of various services and interventions essential for their full growth and development.
ではまずコロナ禍の状況に入る前に、背景といたしまして少し情報にフィリピンの状況についてお話しいたします。フィリピンにいます子どもたちの数の中で 38%、失礼しました、38% が子どもたちとなっています。そしてそのうち19万人が男性、18.5 万人が女性となっています。Please continue.
The current child population in the Philippines, 38% or 38.36 million of the total Philippine population are children, 19 million of which are male and 18.5 million are female. Out of this number, between 250,000 and 1 million are considered children in street situation in Manila alone.
De フィリピンでは貧困の子どもたちが 16.6% がいます。でその中でほぼみんなが学校とか行ってない。食べ物もそんなに毎日1回とか2回しか食べてないということです。Please continue.
The Philippines poverty incidence rate. There is 16.6% poverty incidence among the Philippine population. This data is the proportion of poor Filipinos whose per capita income is insufficient to meet their basic food and non-food needs. The percentage of children that live below the basic needs poverty line. Nationally, 31.4% of children are living below the basic needs poverty line.
So コロナ禍でストリートチルドレンだけじゃなくてストリートファミリーも51% の食べ物の問題とか 45% の教育の問題でヘルスケアの問題とホームレスの問題があります。Please continue.
The most critical problems faced by the children during the pandemic are 51% food security, 45% education opportunities, 24% access to health care, homelessness, and being rescued by the local government units. This is a rapid assessment conducted by the World Vision Philippines.
コロナ禍ではさまざまな経済に対する影響も出ているようです。2020年の4月の時点で 17.7% の人がその職を失うという事態に追い込まれています。またある調査によりますと 71% の人々が仕事を失う、またその収入の減少が見られたとのことでした。Please continue.
So the impact of COVID-19 to the children. On the economic situation, in April 2020, unemployment rate increased to 17.7%, which is equivalent to 7.3 million Filipinos in the labor force. 92% of the households surveyed by World Vision reported that their livelihoods were disrupted 61% of which are either fully or severely affected by the pandemic, and 71% reported to have lost their jobs or reduced their salaries and revenues. 39%, equivalent to 2,625 of the 40,066 respondents, declared that they lost income or employment due to the imposition of strict community quarantine measures or the lockdown, according to the online survey conducted by Subcommittee on Children with Disabilities during COVID-19.
さっき言った通りに71% の人たちが仕事がなくなりました。でそれはその70% の人たちがそれぞれの家族の中で Children with Disability の家族がいます。Please continue.
On economic situation, how does the family's loss of income affect the children? Loss of income is forcing the parents and caregivers to consider drastic measures that will impact the well-being of the children. Among the parents and caregiver, 3% considers to send their children to work, including the high-risk job. 2% express that they will be sending their children to relatives or institution. 42% have used physical or psychological punishment, and 20% cannot fully handle changes in their children's behavior.
でもう一つの経済状況は子どもたちが働かせたりがの理由は 3% です。または 42% は虐待されている子どもたちがいます。Please continue.
What are the strategies adopted by families in order to cope up with their reduced livelihood? They borrow money from relatives, friends, and money lenders. They use up their savings or sell properties and assets. They reduce the quality and quantity of their meals and gave up their rented houses and opted to live on the streets. How did this affect the family's food security? The loss of job means a huge increase of families with less purchasing power. Households are not able to fully meet expenses. The adult and the children eat less than 3 times a day.
そしてそのストリートチルドレンの家族は仕事がなくなったから他の人にお金を借りたりしてでマニーレンダーっていうグループにお金を借りたりしています。Please continue.
Okay, I'll finish on the health impact on health. Pandemic threat to the children's survival, mobility limitation deprive the children and pregnant women to access essential services which threaten children's survival. And these services include, but are not limited to pre-postnatal consultation, including delivery services, immunization, supplementary feeding, deworming, growth monitoring program, and nutrition education and advocacy. There's also a rise in malnutrition, children, and families in street situation relate on feeding programs from local government and non-government organizations.
で健康については子どもたちはコロナ禍における脅威影響を視聴の子どもの増が増えているという分かりました。Please continue, Ms. Consol.
Okay. So, lastly on education, how does the pandemic affect children's education? Children are either unwilling or unsure to attend school, face-to-face or blended. Most of them anticipated challenges on the use of online platform. 1 out of 3 children do not have access to internet, and their parents likewise indicated unavailability or show slow internet connection, lack of gadget, and ineffectiveness of online platform as their top concerns regarding distance learning.
コロナ禍における教育の状況といたしましては、子どもたちは十分なインターネット環境が得られていないということから、十分な教育を受けられている状況とは言いにくいようです。Please continue. Sorry, Atesol, could you please go to the conclusion because the time is running out right now?
Okay. Anyway, we can go to the conclusion, and we will move on to the COVID response.
ただいまお時間が押しているため、最後の結末のところまで飛ばさせていただいております。
Okay. Majority, conclusion. Majority of the street children were living with their parents and siblings. However, some children were pushed to live in streets, in public places, and perceived familial issues as separation, ailment, and abandonment, among others, the root causes.
今までお話ししてきましたように、たくさんの子どもたちは一緒に家族と暮らすことができず、さまざまな問題に、面しているようです。
We move on to the COVID response of Kanlungan. Yes, to the video.
ということで、今からは、カンルンガンサエルマ、ソルさんが代表されているカンルンガンサエルマでどのような、コロナ禍における対応をしているのかについてまとめた動画を流させていただきます。動画には日本語字幕がついていますので、ぜひご覧ください。字幕あるんかな。
To greet you on behalf of Kanlungan, warm greetings to all of you. I am Sol Balbero, the Executive Director of Kanlungan sa IRMA. Let me share with you today what is happening here in the Philippines during this pandemic crisis. Actually, let me start with the number of cases, positive cases. Yesterday, from the record, it's about 20,000 cases. And we have reached the highest number of cases per day is 22,000 last week. So this is for this second half of the year when the Delta variant became so, active and more people are getting infected with the virus. But going back last year, since the start of the lockdown in March 2020, it really brought a lot of changes in our society, among the people we serve, even with Kanlungan. That situation last year, when it was so difficult for everybody, Kanlungan found many of our beneficiaries getting hungry, and most of them are expressing to Kanlungan staff that they really need help. So the pandemic crisis or the lockdown did not stop Kanlungan to reach out to these children. What we did, we continue to serve them by feeding these street families, the children, both in the communities and the streets. And included in this group of people that we fed are the locally stranded adults, mostly men who are staying along the streets of Taft Avenue, TM Calao, Ross Boulevard, even to Lawton area. I know AWPS has been to the Lawton area, and we've done the feeding program to the street children there. So for the period March to July 2020, Kanlungan has fed many of these families. And then we also have distributed, I think, more than 5,000 food packs. And we have distributed cooked meals to about 10,000 persons. And also, we continued feeding the children in the community. And the activities that the staff usually did was stopped because of the protocol on social distancing. But the staff continued to be creative in conducting the trainings to the parents and to the children and the youth as well. And so, as I said, the pandemic or COVID-19 did not stop Kanlungan from reaching out to its beneficiaries and from helping them and teaching them, continuing the educational support, not only for the children but for the parents. The children has a different system of education starting the pandemic, and our Department of Education started the modular system and the online system and the blended modular and online system. So we still continued to support our children in the communities for educational assistance. Our children in the shelters continue to do their modular studies, and the staff brings these answered modules, filled out modules, I should say, to the school and every week. So they continued their schooling both in the shelter level and the community level, and it worked fine so far. But the children, of course, are deprived to go out. Children are not allowed to go out. And so all the socialization activities were stopped. But the staff were creative enough to do activities right inside the shelter. So they did some Zumba dancing, arts activities, drawings, and even the swimming part was not missed because the staff rented the swimming pool and they did it inside the shelter, the center of Kanlungan. So until now, Kanlungan continues to do the feeding program both in the Tunasan and in the Malati areas and the different communities. We do the food distribution program once in a while as funds become available. And just this, I think within this month or two, we've been receiving some vegetables and fruits that are nearly to be damaged by the Food Panda group. And we're very thankful because we receive it in the Malati Center and also in Tunasan, but we distribute it to the communities over and above to the consumption of the shelter. Like, for example, here in Malate, when we receive these fruits and vegetables, we save the ones that will be used in the center, and also some of the staff are blessed to have some fruits and vegetables too. But the rest of the donation goes to the community, and we have conducted like community pantries, which is really very helpful to a lot of people in the poor communities who have lost their jobs, lost their income, their means of income. So we really need help continually because life goes on, and the life of our beneficiaries also go on, and we continue to move forward in helping them. And thank you, AWPS, that you are interested to support our work again. And we are here to just let you know all your efforts are greatly appreciated. We really believe you care for the children, you care for Kanlungan, and that is so precious to us. So in case you need anything to help us in your advocacy, just let us know. So also take care, all of you at AWPS, take care and be safe, keep safe from this COVID variants, and also keep healthy, be healthy, and strengthen your immune system. And we will keep you in our prayers always for our protection and for our country's protection. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you in the future after this pandemic crisis. Bye. Thank you,
That's all for the lecture and the video, and we'll soon move on to the Q&A session.
ありがとうございました。さあ、それではここからは第2部のトークセッションとしまして、現役高校生をお迎えしてソルさんに質問をお願いしたいと思います。
本日ご参加いただくのは藤井あゆみさん、武田淳之介さん、徳山里乃さん、高校2年生の3名です。よろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いいたします。皆さんはミュートは解除されてますでしょうか。聞こえておりますでしょうか。はい、それではご質問のある方から挙手をお願いいたします。はい、どなたでしょうか。ではお名前と、ご質問とお願いいたします。
高校2年生の徳山里乃です。質問はフィリピンの国はストリートチルドレンに対してどのように改善しようと動いているのか教えていただきたいです。
Miss Consuelo,
Yeah.
she wants to know how are the country or how is the Philippine country working to improve this situation during the pandemic?
Actually, our government has done many. First, they have passed on some directives to protect our children in the Philippines. One is to, of course, government also have released some amount of money to give food packs to the street families and in poor communities, and it's taken care of by the different local governments. So that's one major thing that the government has done to provide food for the poor families, whether in street situation or in communities. And then also, children are not allowed to go out during the pandemic time. When there was a lockdown, children are placed in shelters as much as possible, and some of them are not allowed to go out of their communities. So there's a strict directive not to allow children to go out. And of course, the vaccination is one important action of the government to vaccinate all the adults and also to protect the children. Right now, our government has already started the vaccination of children ages from 12 to 17, and now below 12, we have started also vaccinating the children. So I think these are the major activities done by the children, by our government to help these street children and their families, and also the poor communities.
Thank you so much. That's all. それではですね、通訳させていただき、Let me interpret it. フィリピンの政府としましては、国からさまざまな要請をしているそうです。またですね、困っている人たちに食事の提供をすること、また、このロックダウンの中で子どもたちには外に出ないように、できるだけシェルターの中にいるようにという要請をしているようです。またワクチンに関しましては、大人だけではなく子どもへのワクチン接種の要請もフィリピン政府とはして フィリピン政府からは要請しているようです。では次の質問に参ります。
はい、それでは続いての質問、質問がある方、挙手でお願いいたします。はい、ではお名前と質問をお願いします。
はい、高校2年生の藤井あゆみと申します。フィリピンのストリートチルドレンが今一番求めているもの、望んでいることは何か教えていただきたいです。
Miss Conso. Okay. So she wanted to know what is the biggest factor that makes a person become a street children or be a member of street family?
I think the biggest factor is poverty. Poverty and dysfunctional family. Those are the two factors I believe that drives these children to the streets.
Sorry, so could you please repeat that again?
Please repeat your answer.
I think the biggest factor that drive children to the street is poverty, and next is the dysfunctional families.
Okay. 貧困とファミリー家族が分かれているということで、それが一番問題になっています。
ありがとうございます。
はい、それではここでですね、今質問の途中なんですけれども、時刻は12時を回りました。引き続きコロナ禍での貧困を考えて、フィリピンのストリートファミリーの現状をお送りいたします。この後のセッション7は、こちらのセッションが終了次第お送りいたします。それでは続いて質問のある方、挙手をお願いいたします。はい、ではお名前と質問をお願いします。
高2年生、武田仁之助です。フィリピンのストリートチルドレンは急な雨などが降ったとき、どのようにしているか教えていただきたいです。
Miss Consuelo, he would like to know how are the street children spend their time when it rains suddenly outside?
When it rains suddenly outside, some of them play in the rain, and some of them goes to the buildings and places where they can stay for a while until the rain stops. It could be empty buildings or establishments where they can seek refuge.
そうですね、フィリピンのフィリピンの子どもたちは急な豪雨が降った際には安全な空きビルなどに入って、やっぱり少しの時間雨宿りをするという時間があるそうです。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
はい、ありがとうございました。さあ、それではそろそろお時間がまだ質問が時間がありますので、質問がある方、挙手をお願いいたします。はい、ではお願いいたします。
はい。私たちも募金などするんですけど、募金などって得たお金ってそれで一番必要としているものだったり使ったりするものなどを教えていただきたいです。
So Ms. Consuelo, when it comes to money, except money, what is the first thing that they need the most for donations?
I think aside from money, we need this health services. It's very important in this pandemic situation. Health services are very important. to protect the spread of the virus and also to protect our children. They have to have access to health services.
はい、お金以外に必要なものというお金以外に必要なものとしましては、やはり、健康問題を解決するようなさまざまなサービスを必要としています。健康問題ですね、例えばウイルスから身を守ることであったりとか、そのようなサービスを子どもたちに与えたいなと思っています。
So that would include vaccination and providing good nutrition for our children to strengthen their immune system.
例えばですね、予防接種であったりとか、栄養価の高いもの、これらを求めております。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. I think I should also add awareness, no? We should have a massive awareness of what to do, spread information to communities and streets about this pandemic situation to protect themselves. Okay, thank you.
このコロナ禍におきましては、自分の身を守るためのさまざまなグッズなど、これらを求めております。
はい、ありがとうございます。
Thank you
はい、
very much.
ありがとうございます。では続いて質問のある方いらっしゃいますか？どなたか。はい、どなたか質問ある方、挙手でお願いします。なさそうですかね。はい、ではそれではそろそろお時間が近づいてまいりましたので、以上をもちましてトークセッションを終了とさせていただきます。ソルさん、通訳のダニカさん、そして高校生の藤井さん、武田さん、徳山さん、本当にありがとうございました。